The dumbest bill in America is a 21 and under cell phone ban.
Oh, goodness.
So it's a 21 under cell phone ban, which means that you cannot own a cell phone. You cannot own a cell phone unless you are at least 21 years of age.
Goodness gracious.
Otherwise, you are banned from owning a cell phone.
$1,000 fine if caught.
So the Vermont State Senator John Rogers, Democrat from Essex, Orleans, in the state of Vermont, introduced Senate Bill 212. The bill would make possession or use of a cell phone a misdemeanor and a $1,000 fine if you were under 21 years of age and possessing a cell phone. So, Mr. Millennial, since you guys grew up on cell phones, I want to hear that. I want to hear how stupid you think this bill is.
I had my first cell phone when I was 8.
You were 8 years old?
I was 8, and I had one of those cell phones that had like 4 programmed numbers, and I could call my mom, my dad, my grandparents, and one other person. And then that's how, when I went out and played, that I knew it was time to come home.
Yeah, but you're probably trying to use it to control the world too, because millennials, were very quick at the technology. Oh, hey, guess what I can do?
Yeah, but I think I had my first iPhone when I was in a 7th or 8th grade, which is kind of the way of the world now. And if I could go back and do it, I wouldn't want a cell phone that early. And if I ever have kids, I would try to stave off the whole cell phone thing as long as humanly possible, because I think that there are a lot of downsides to it. I mean, sometimes I can't help but just sit on my phone and look at it. I'm just like, God, I gotta put this thing down. It takes up too much of your time. It's just like a time sink, and it's
hours and hours
and
a
just
day.
Staring at a screen. And I think it's taken us.
Because you think you're gonna miss something.
Fear of missing out is huge.
It's always social media too. Oh my gosh, someone just
Are you
friended
seeing
me.
what this person's doing and that person's doing? Meanwhile, it's all just like a montage of the best moments of your life, and ignores all the crap going on in it. But that's a whole different question for another day. But back to the bill, Mark.
Yeah, under 21 cell phone ban. So basically, you have to be under 21. If you're under 21, you're banned from owning one. But
yes,
you could have to be 21 years of age, just like when you buy alcohol.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Mark, what is our? I think I'm sensing a theme here on Dumbest Bill. A lot of people are just trying to ban things.
Yeah.
It's just let's
Dumb
ban this,
bills.
ban that. Something's annoying me. Ban it. Get
Absolutely.
rid of it.
And by the way, it's almost exclusively Democrats who are in the ban sector. Occasionally, there are Republicans that do ban things, right?
Well, it seems that we try to open things up over here, but sometimes we open them up in all the wrong ways, because you get things like polygamy, but that's beside the point.
And those are the Republicans, by the way, that would do that in Utah. So, Electric Light Orchestra, remember them?
Oh, yeah.
Of course
Great
you
band.
don't. You weren't even alive.
Oh, come on.
Come
Mark.
on, you weren't even alive. You don't know who they are.
I was raised in a
loved
good household,
ELO.
70s and 80s, vinyls on all the time. Loved me some ELO.
I loved ELO. So ELO, of course, talks about the telephone line, which of course is the name of the song. And we have a clip on this about this dumbest bill in America. And here's the clip. So what you would say if you picked up that telephone is, that's a $1,000 fine and it's a misdemeanor. I mean, basically in Vermont, that's the law. It's not the law, but it's a proposed bill that he would want. Of course, it did not pass.
I hope not. The logic there. I'm sure, hey, I'll tell you what, I'm sure Verizon, AT&T, and T-Mobile showed up in full force and said absolutely not.
Yeah, are you crazy?
Sent their lobbyists, probably scared.
Yeah, and every millennial, of course, well, millennials are already old enough, so it doesn't matter, but everybody...
Yeah, I saw a video where for
kids.
this bill, they interviewed a bunch of millennials, and they were like, oh, ban cell phones, how could you do that? I was like, I couldn't live without it. And I was like, well, I think maybe I'm sympathizing a little bit.
Actually, the one thing
here.
I will tell you as a boomer is, if you want your millennial when they're growing up, if you wanted your millennial to do what you really wanted, like, for example, they weren't doing their homework or they were constantly arguing with their sibling or something like that.
Take their cell phone?
Taking their cell phone was the best way to get them to adjust to what you wanted them to do, because they were just like, no, you can't take my cell phone. I'm like, yes, I can. Yes, I can.
I pay the bill. You're dang right I can.
It's really my cell phone that I'm letting you use, even though they're all still on my cell phone bill.
Mark, sheesh, you gotta take it for a ride there.
So here's John Rogers. John Rogers is the state senator from Vermont who put the under 21 cell phone ban into place, or at least the bill into place. And we have a real short clip of him. I'm not really sure he makes any sense. I don't think this advances his argument, but here's the clip.
John Rogers out with a bill meant to be symbolic, to needle his colleagues.
I put it out there to try to make people think.
The Democrat is suggesting making it illegal to own a cell phone in Vermont until you're 21.
Something he hasn't done.
Arguing phones can be deadly, especially while driving. But Rogers says he wouldn't even vote for his own proposal. Rather, it's his creative response to what he sees as lawmakers chipping away at gun rights.
This was meant to say, okay, you don't value gun rights and you're willing to take mine away. I don't really value my cell phone that much. How would you like it if I took that away?
We're not really still sure. We've read a lot about John Rogers, State Senator John Rogers from Vermont, about his under 21 cell phone ban. We're still not sure exactly what he's talking about, even though you heard what he said. He's also said a lot of other things, and the media has reported it. It doesn't all add, none of it adds up.
It's a little funky, but I think you got to be a little funky to introduce a bill like this in the first place.
And to maybe live in Vermont. I mean, it is a beautiful place, by the way. It's a beautiful state.
Great state.
But I do think that after a while of being in Vermont, maybe you get a little isolated.
It's all that Bernie energy up
maybe
there.
they like the pandemic. I'm not really sure. That's why you moved to. So anyway, that is the dumbest bill in America, and that is it for Mark and the Millennials. Thank you for joining the Mark and the Millennials. This is Mark Fisher. Thank you to our millennial, Garrick Ross, and of course, our assistant producer, Christopher Hopkins, and our producer, Adam Katura. Check us out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and our website. See you next time.